Hello, everyone. Welcome to Engaged Citizens. I'm your host, Sherry Ryan, and I am joined today with Scappoose School Board candidate Lorin Fielding. Hi, Lorin.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad to have you and just get to chat with you and share this with the community. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yes. So we're just going to get right to it. Lauren, can you tell us a little bit just about yourself, your family and your affiliation with Scappoose?
Okay. Well, I actually come from a large family, seven brothers, two sisters. My dad was a medical doctor and was in the Air Force. But after I graduated with a business degree in business finance, I eventually moved to Scappoose. We've been here 29 years. Um, I have eight children, a couple less than my dad, and they've all gone through the Scappoose School District, and been married to my wife Brenda
Mhm.
for 38, coming on 39 years.
Oh,
So I
congrats.
I I currently own Inexpensive Tree Care. I've run that for 20 years out here, so I do know a lot of people out here, and I've done a lot of community service, thousands of hours of community service, and worked with those um, who need housing, particularly people who are more near the poverty level, but can still find good housing. So worked with community action and a lot of other resources. So that's a little in a nutshell.
Yeah. Man,
I've had a
thank
lot
you
of
for being in our
I
community.
bought a lot of businesses and owned them and run them and later sold them. So, but that's currently in a nutshell a little bit about me.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing and thank you for all that you do in our community, Lauren.
Thank you.
Yeah, and helping people. Can you tell us what is motivating you? What motivated you to run for school board? What's motivating you to want to be a part of the Scappoose School Board?
Well, my kids all have gone through Scappoose.
Hmm.
Um, we really enjoyed the Scappoose school district. My kids were active in sports and cheerleading and plays and everything else. But I kind of feel that there's been a few comments, particularly from friends and acquaintances, that they kind of feel like they can't trust a few of the things that in the Scappoose school. And when I try to dig deeper, um, I've realized that they've pulled their kids out of school and they're homeschooling, charter school, private schools. And I kind of felt like I want to be an advocate for public education.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to, bring back that trust so maybe those people some people homeschool because they feel like they have to, not because they really want to. And
Yeah.
so I just want to make people feel more comfortable in bringing their kids back to school. This will help with our funding, so that we can have more resources to, help kids that might have fallen behind a little bit in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, and, try to support teachers, that we support them as well as wanting to listen, want things run also.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. Can you tell us what a school board member does? What does that position entail?
Well, I think quite a few things.
Mhm.
Obviously, they make policy,
Mhm.
especially in their districts. Um, and I think this comes through listening to all parties involved, the parents, the teachers, administrators, and being able to collaborate with them. They also are in charge of the budgets and approving those budgets, and they set the school calendar, when school's going to start and stop. Um, you know, there's they're also in charge of hiring and evaluating um, the superintendent and how he's running things. And So I think those things are the basics. I've never been a school board member, but that's my understanding. So,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. That encompasses pretty much everything that I've learned about what a school board member does also, Lauren. So,
yeah.
and I've never been one either. So, just from attending and gathering, from people, what makes you qualified to be a school board member? Why do
Well,
what would you bring to the table?
I think I have a lot of organizational experience.
Hmm.
I've run quite a few companies, some that I haven't mentioned, and
Hmm.
that often requires knowing how to deal with people,
Yeah,
understanding certain people react different ways, um, and being able to transparent communication with them. I think that a lot of times, there's parents who might be frustrated, not because, um, mainly because they're trying to get information and they can't seem to get it. Not
hmm,
necessarily that the school or the school board is doing anything wrong. It's just that they're frustrated not getting more information.
yeah,
And I think also um, by being able to communicate well with people. Um, I
yeah,
want I want there to be an opportunity for teachers also to feel like they can voice their opinion and not be scared that, they're overstepping their bounds and could be fired or something
yeah,
else, so that
hmm,
everyone can, have an open communication there. So,
yeah. That's
but
wonderful.
I've run a lot of companies and bought and sold them, and I've had a lot of kids, and I know what parents, some care very much about their kids, some might be a little disconnected on what's being taught, but
Mhm.
um, so I think
Yeah,
just some of those skills.
yeah. Those are good. I mean, being a business owner and working with a lot of different people, diverse cultures and, different, voices and
Hmm.
just all that takes a lot of skill. What makes you, what do you think, I'm sorry, what are some things that you see the Scappoose School Board doing well or things that have gone well, And then what is something that if you were elected in that you would like to help maybe improve or work on?
Well, I know that there's a lot of support for the sports programs and plays and concerts, and I think those have been well supported,
Yeah,
and so there's a lot of camaraderie there in the
yeah,
Scappoose School
totally.
District. But some of the thing, because I've never been a school board member, um, I think that from the outside looking in, I would probably try to bring back that trust that,
Yeah,
we need to be able to bring more students back. Since the pandemic, we've lost, over 100 students that are now in private or public or charter schools or homeschools. And if we
okay.
can just bring even just a little over 100 people back to the school,
Yeah,
it'll increase our funding to the tune of almost $1 million. And those
wow.
are things that we could really help in our school district.
Yeah,
A lot of kids that maybe kind of felt left behind, we could have new and exciting software to help bring them up to their peers.
yeah,
I feel like there's some kids that live in poverty
hmm,
or homelessness. They were
yeah,
maybe sleeping on a couch somewhere at someone's house. And I think that my experience of working in Columbia County
hmm,
with Columbia County Mental Health,
hmm,
Community Action Team, the food bank, to mention a few, um, will help maybe suggest where these people can receive some help, because there a lot of times people, they just don't know what they don't know,
yeah,
and we
totally.
need to be able to tell them what resources that they can take advantage of so they can have their own home, they can feel like they can sleep in their own bed
Yeah,
and not feel that pressure. So,
totally. Yeah, that's we have that in our community and we, it's happening, right?
mhm.
What do you have to say? These are some questions that are just a little bit more like that people have, sent me and want to ask school board member candidates. They're like, I really just, this is something that concerns me. And this is something that people have asked is that, what do you say, when, different constituents say that the public system, the public school system has become, just this, the school board has become a rubber stamping of ODE's policies and just kind of, saying like everything that ODE hands down is what we have to do. What do you have to say, about that?
Well, that's the perception, and
Hmm.
uh, and I think it's because there's not a bit has been enough openness. But I
Yeah,
think that our responsibility as school board members is we make policy for our district.
yeah,
And so by listening to our parents, teachers, administrators, and collaborate with them, um, if we have a policy that might not 100%, um, you know, agree with the Oregon Department of Education,
hmm,
um, well, then we're going to do what's best for our district.
yeah,
Now, there might just be some minor things,
hmm,
but we want to at least have the perception that we're not a rubber stamp, but that
hmm,
we're not just going rogue and doing anything we want and something like that. We want to make sure that our district is getting their needs met. So,
yeah, yeah. Wonderful. Do you think that a school board member should be making decisions, in their position, with their own opinions, with their own beliefs, with their own, set of values? Um, what do you have to say for that?
well, I think that as board members, we represent the community,
Mm-hmm.
and if it disagrees with our personal, we that's where we have to make decisions on doing what those who have elected us want.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can insert your opinion, but I think you have to listen to the voters and you have
Yeah.
to listen to what those people want.
Yeah. Yeah. What the community speaks about and maybe what they
Mhm,
come to you about and bring to you, right?
mhm.
Um, how do you envision then engaging, with the community, namely with parents, with constituents who would vote you in to be their voice and to represent them? How would you envision engaging with them once you're elected?
Well, sometimes, I've attended quite a few board meetings, school board meetings before. The
Yeah.
format often can be frustrating because you're expressing your opinion, but no one talks, no one says anything, no one
Hmm.
addresses anything. So, and maybe that's a certain way that they've set it up, but I think I would make my email and my available and be open to if people want to discuss things further and take those into account so that they feel like they're being listened to. Right
Hmm.
now, sometimes, you express an opinion and then they vote on it and boom, that was it. It didn't matter what you said.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
want to kind of take that back to where parents, teachers, and others want to make sure that they actually had a decision, a help in making that decision.
Yeah. Like they had a
So,
voice.
right. And so, it could be, where you might have, you don't have a 7-0 vote.
Yeah.
There could
Yeah.
be a lot of communication going back and forth, and sometimes you don't always agree, but maybe it'll be a 5-2 vote or a 4-3 vote. And there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be listened to. So,
Yeah.
and
Everyone needs to be heard.
everyone needs to be accepted and feel like they belong and that they're part of it, even if they have a different opinion.
Yes. Because we all have different opinions, because we all have different experiences in life, right? Your experience of living in a really large family is different than my experience, right?
Mhm.
And it's given you a different perspective and a different opinion. And and that is what, we want represented in in our boards, in our elected representatives, is we want diversity. We want people that are coming in with different ideas to present those to represent everyone, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you so much for taking the time to just really kind of dig into these questions that are very important to Scappoose School District community members and those who will be voting. And so I really appreciate your availability. And I just will be posting your info so people can reach you. And we will hope to talk soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes. Thank you, Lauren. You take care. Bye bye.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye bye.